Alon is a musician. He's a pianist. He loves Elton John.
Hmm.
I heard that Trump loves Elton John also. He says, I was thinking about that, when he comes out, that it would be nice to come to the White House and have him play for Trump.
I'm still standing.
I'm Still Standing. That's a good song. That is such a good song. That'll be nice.
Oh, that can be amazing. Welcome to the Kraus Report. Today is Sunday. I'm Neria Kraus, and these are the most critical and important days to achieve a hostage-ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. There are major issues with that deal, and first of all, this is a partial deal, which means that this is not ending the war and not all of the hostages are going to be released. So I obtained and reviewed the original document of the Qatari proposal. It's in Arabic. If you're watching us now, you can see that on the screen on our video, but I'll elaborate in just a sec. My sources are telling me that this time Israel really wants it and Hamas wants it as well. And President Trump can wait to get it done. So these are the details from the original Qatari document. And of course, I spoke to my sources to know that this is what they're about to agree on. 10 hostages that are still alive will be released in the period of 60 days of the ceasefire. 8 will be released on the first day of the agreement. 2 more will be released on the 50th day of the ceasefire. Humanitarian aid will be distributed in Gaza in different ways. That is something that Hamas still negotiates. And during that time, the IDF will reposition itself away from certain areas in northern Gaza and in southern Gaza on different dates of the deal. President Trump, as the document says, will be committed to making sure that Israel does not violate the deal. So what does Hamas want to change in that deal? Because we know that they are positive about this hostage ceasefire deal proposal, but they're not happy with some specific terms. So they're not happy with the way the humanitarian aid is being distributed. They want to have more control over that. They want the IDF to leave more parts of Gaza, and they want President Trump to provide them with guarantees that the ceasefire will last more than 60 days, even if there's no deal to end the war that is achieved by that time. Prime Minister Netanyahu is on his way to Washington, D.C. to meet President Trump at the White House. We're going to see historic days of decision-making, and he's heading there while there is criticism, real criticism in Israel, because a lot of Israelis prefer to see a deal that brings home all hostages once and for all and ends the war, and not a partial deal. Now, there is an issue of the list. Who decides which hostages will be released as a part of that deal? They're going to release 10 hostages as a part of that partial deal, and we know of at least 20 hostages that are still alive in Hamas captivity. That means you have to choose which hostage you're releasing, which hostage you're saving, at least for now. So that's a tough conversation in Israel right now, and there is a special Israeli committee that can try to decide. But that's a major issue that the Israelis and the hostages' families are coping with today. So what's happening next? Proximity talks are starting in Qatar with a delegation of Hamas and an Israeli delegation, and Bishara Bachbach. He's sort of the U.S. representative to the talks. He's not an official American representative, but he represents Steve Witkoff and President Trump during those talks. Israel just said yesterday that they're not happy with Hamas' response, but they are willing to negotiate, and this is why they're sending this delegation to Qatar. Today I'm hosting a very special guest, Idit Ohel. Idit is an amazing woman, and she's the mother of Alon. Alon is a kind, lovely, young Israeli musician, and he was kidnapped at the age of 22 from the Nova Music Festival. We do know that Alon is alive, but we've heard terrible stories about his time in captivity. And he was kidnapped together with Hirsch Goldberg Pauling, the son of John and Rachel. Hirsch was murdered, unfortunately, in captivity. Alon was severely injured, and he might actually become blind if he won't be released soon and get treatment in Israel. his condition is deteriorating, and I'm hosting his mom today while she's on her way to Washington, D.C. to be here during this very important week. Idit Ohel, mother of Alon Ohel, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Tell me, how are you doing these days?
I think it's very difficult. It's very nerve-wracking, not knowing exactly what's going to happen, and especially with the fact that Alon is still in hostage in Gaza in this terrible conditions. Alon is injured, and we're worried about him because every day he goes blind. Every day, more and more, and he needs to get medical attention. Alon has never gotten any medical attention, not from any doctor that's seen him, and from the 7th of October till today, and we're worried. Alon he has a head injury and also a shrapnel in his eye and all over his body. And the fact that he's been in the tunnels right from the beginning till today, and 40 meters under the ground in the tunnel is hard for us. Knowing that he has never seen from the 7th of October till today sunlight or the sky or breathe, air, fresh air, that is unbearable, just
And you've
unbearable.
heard from hostages that were there with him, right? What did they tell you about his condition?
So Elisha, Abi, and Neria and Or, that they came out. They were all four of them were together most of the time, all of the time. Elia definitely. They came home. Alon is still there, but alone. They told us about, their captivity, about, Alon's situation. He was being starved. Still today, we don't know if he's getting any food. He's being held in, and chained in his legs. That's what we heard.
So he's being chained this entire time.
I don't know right now if he is, but yes, through the whole, for a year at least.
He was in chains.
He was chained to Eli Sharabi. They were chained together for a whole year.
Wow.
Yeah. We know that Alon is getting blind every day. He has a sharp nail in his eye. He can't see in that eye. And we know that, that they weren't allowed so many food. They got very little. And just
He
about
ate
that.
about one pita a day or something, right? Sort of like one piece of bread.
For the four of them, not for one, for the four of them.
So they had to split one pita into 4 pieces, and then they shared one pita together, all the 4 of them.
Yeah. 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 That is difficult to hear as a mother. Know that it's like in your instinct as a mother to come and help your kid. Give him food, shelter, be like a shield against people who will hurt him. I can't do it. It's not on me. I have no control over what they're doing to Alon. And that's is very hard. Do have control of how I give, how I react to the situation and how, to what home Alon is coming back to. But what they're doing to him, I have no control, which is, I can't explain how hard that is. I don't think any mother can understand the fact that Alon had 2 birthdays in captivity. He was kidnapped at the age of 22. Now he's 24. And I even couldn't say happy birthday. I couldn't hear his voice.
Are you able to even sleep at night?
I try to. It's not easy. You wake up sometimes in the middle of the night thinking about your son. I think about Alon. Yeah, what he's doing and how he is and how is he coping.
And Alon is a musician, right?
Yeah, Alon is a musician. He's a pianist. He's been playing from the age of 9 and is really good at it. He was supposed to start studying at a Rimon School of Music. It's like the Academy of Music, like Juilliard in some way, and start and living in Tel Aviv with his friends. And I think he wanted him to do that. I was thinking about the music that he loves. So he's been playing different kinds of music, but he loves Elton John,
Hmm.
which is something that he, loves to play.
So
I
he
think
used to be at home just like playing Elton John and
just Elton John, there's Lionel Richie, Commodores, just different ones that he really loves. He loves jazz. He learned classical, but he loves jazz also. And I heard that Trump loves Elton John also. I was thinking about that, when he comes out, that it would be nice to come to the White House and have him play for Trump. That'll be nice.
Oh, that can be amazing. I'm still standing.
I'm still standing. That's a good song. That is such a good song. Yeah, I
And
could.
Trump can do his little dance.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I wish that.
Do you
Just
have
for,
that? Do you have those thoughts in mind? Like, how is it going to happen when he will be back home? Like those moments of seeing him again? Are you trying to imagine that?
yeah, I have that all the time. I imagine it all the time. Him coming home, playing on the piano at home, um, and living and going to the beach. He loves the beach.
Do you imagine that specific moment of him coming back and you're hugging him? Or is this something that you allow yourself to dream of?
Of course, of course. That's what hangs me on.
How
That's
will it
the
look
things that
like, this moment for you?
I think he'll be very emotional. And I don't think I'll stop hugging him for a couple of minutes.
Hmm.
I think he too is probably crying, with it. I learn the power that he has with music, the relationship that he has it helps him in captivity also. He plays music on himself and that helps him also cope, thinking about us, thinking about the music that he loves. So that is something that helps me cope, knowing that when he's doing it, and that he knows who he is and he knows where he wants to go. But his injury is not easy. And I think the most important thing is to bring the hostages that are injured home, firstly, so they can live. They don't have the time. None of the hostages do, but the injured, especially alone with his injury, is he must come and get medical attention. Alone. People say the name alone in English, and the meaning of alone is oak tree. So alone in oak is the same. So I think how strong he is, like an oak tree. He's been surviving this. Today is 637 days, which is amazing. And he's very, flexible. He can commute because of our last name, which is Ohel, means tent. You can put a tent wherever you want, and that's how he is. He adjusts to situations very fast. That's why he's strong.
Up next, Idit is talking about peace and rebuilding Gaza. If you like this episode, you can click subscribe and join us. These are nerve-wracking days. How are you coping? We're talking about a possible hostage deal. And yet that hostage deal, at least at the moment while we're talking, seems like a partial hostage deal, which means we'll see 60 days of ceasefire and 10 approximately 10 hostages that are still alive that are being released. That means around half of the hostages that are alive and some other hostages that unfortunately are dead. How does it make you feel when you know that Alon may be in the list and may not be in the list?
I try not to think about it too much. I try to know. Firstly, I know Alon is coming home alive. That's
That's a
something
fact.
that's a fact for me. It was from the 7th of October till today. 7th of October 2023 till today. I'm not changing. I see it all the time. We know it. I guess that's how it works. We thought, that the deal before was 33 out, and then phase 2, it didn't happen. And now I guess it's the same. We have to continue so the hostages will return somehow. Of course, I would rather it be that all the hostages will return immediately, all of them. But it's not up to me. But what's up to me is conveying how important it is for the hostages that are injured to be returned first. I will say it many times because they're injured. You don't live behind the injured in no war, in nothing. Alon is an innocent civilian. He went to the Nova Festival. He did nothing wrong. He was kidnapped from Israeli land, from a Nova Festival, from a peace festival. He came back a month before the kidnapping from traveling all over Asia for 7 months. So what is that? And he was injured in that when they took him after being in a bomb shelter and being thrown. He was, the Hamas throwing grenades, terrorists, into the bomb shelter, RPGs and rifles with gun shoots and stuff. There were 27 in that bomb shelter. Only 7 survived, and 4 were kidnapped. Alon was kidnapped with Hirsch Goldenberg Pauline, and he did not survive. He was murdered in captivity.
The son of Rachel and John Goldberg
Yes.
Paulin.
Mm-hmm. And Or Levy and Neria Kraus are home now. So Alon has to come home. Has to come home.
Thinking about the fact that there is a list that someone will have to decide who's on that list and who's not. It's so cruel, this reality.
Selection. I think the Jewish people know that a lot, sadly. I think it's very hard, but that is, I don't even know I just want my son home. There's so many days. I just want him home. And I hope that he will come home very soon. We just got new information with the eye doctors. It has to be fast because they know the eye situation. She just wrote me today. She sent me this new information about the situation now with Alon. The prognosis is depending on where the sharp nail is in his eye. It's still time to get him into surgery. So to revive the eye and to save the muscle of the eye. And in saying that even today, there's a chance of him being blinded on the other eye. And she says, it's more now than ever. He has to come as soon as possible so they can take care of him. And that he would not be continue with the infection and be blinded forever. We're worried.
He has no more time to wait.
He does not.
And you're coming to DC this week. Prime Minister Netanyahu is coming to the White House, and you're coming here as well. Why is it important for you to be here? And if you have any message to the American administration, to Trump's administration?
Well, firstly, I know the President Trump and his staff are amazing. I've been in contact with them, with Witkoff and others, and they're just so heartfelt, and they do have a heart, and they try to help us, in bringing the hostages home. And I'm amazed how, they have nothing to do with what's going on in Israel. They don't live in Israel, but they think about us and they try to help. It's amazing for us that they're doing it. And I want them to continue and never forget and never stop until my son is home, and do all they can. This is a humanitarian issue. It is not a political one. Alon was kidnapped from Israeli land. Israel did not start this war. We're talking about terrorism. Alon is not just my son. His kidnapping is about what's right and what's wrong, and what's human and what's not. And this is not. So Alon needs to come home, and we have to stop it. And that's why I think the American government is in this, because it's about humanitarian issue. And I hear that a person named Bach is also doing so much to bring. He brought Idan Alexander home.
Yeah.
He has connections and contacts with Hamas. So I'm asking him also to see what's going on and to understand, we have to bring them home. We have to bring the injured, and we have to finish with this, with the war, and rebuilt. I think Gaza needs to be rebuilt after what happened. We as a country in Israel, we have to be rebuilt.
Is there anything else you'd like to say, or?
That I wish it would be over soon, and that always look at and at the good in life. I know people are good, and I know there's good in this world, and we have to remember that, and we have to pray all day, every day, that there will be peace one day, and that there will be no more wars, in a very utopic world, which we're not really, but we need this, and we need everyone's help for that. So thank you, and
Let's pray that you'll see
bring them and do
Alon
it,
soon and hug him, and run towards him. Um,
and just say to him how much I love him, and that he's a hero. He's a Superman for getting through all of this. He is. He is.
is. Idit, thank you so much for talking to us, and safe travels to Washington, D.C. And I hope you'll meet everyone you need to see there, to meet there, and to let them know that Alon must return home soon to hug you. Thank you so much, Idit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to the Kraus Report. If you liked this episode, you can click subscribe. And of course, I'll be here with updates throughout this week about the hostage deal, the ceasefire deal, and Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit to the White House.